Hi guys, my name is Delta Miner, and in this video I'll be tackling a very simple question. Who is the richest video game character? While a question of which completely fictional game character is in possession of the most economic value may seem silly, it is still one that remains mostly unclear. While most might say it's clearly whoever has the most gold coins, gemstones, cash stacks, or apparently a diamond pony, it's not necessarily true. Why? Because currency. While I can try to explain the details of currency, which I did try, that script was just incredibly long and boring to listen to and animate, I also lack the actual knowledge to explain it well, which other channels have actually done before. But in short, if we are to compare fictional gold and real-world gold, it's extremely unrealistic, even for a dumb question like who is the richest video game character, to assume that they share the same value. Gold in real life has its value determined by its history and the entire population unanimously agreeing that it is worth a lot of money and a lot less by demand. I mean, most of gold is used as currency or jewelry, not including them being used in electronics, which is actually small in comparison anyway. So if we just decided that gold isn't cool enough anymore, or if gold was literally littered all over the place, the value of gold will immediately drop to that of common metals like nickel, or tin, or lithium or something. Instead, another common method is to use another object as a background currency, where we can assume that an in-game object is valued by the in-game characters to have the same worth as its real-life counterpart. A good tradable object to be used as a background currency would actually be food, as food is something that has always had a constant demand over history, while jewelry is only an object of fashion and has a demand that is completely dependent on how luxurious the current society is. But everyone has always had to eat around 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day to survive, which is why using consumables as a backup currency, in my opinion, is a better method to estimate the worth of a fictitious currency, except for of course by analyzing the economic and societal structures, which I can't. However, even so, the prices of in-game foods are often wild, to say the least. Just take Stardew Valley for example, which places the apple to be worth the same as a coconut at 100 coins, which anyone who has done shopping can say is inaccurate. This is a common mistake as in-game prices of items are often set for balance rather than to be realistic. However, it still throws a wrench in the works when the choice of which singular item should back the entire game's currency can make the conversion rate range from anywhere from a percent of a cent to $100, which is why I didn't make a choice and instead made a spreadsheet of all the in-game currency to US dollar ratios for every single game and took the median instead. This decision to avoid decisions added so many hours into this project that I'll never get back. Now we got done how to determine a currency, here's a few other rules I've got to set down, just for the sake of quote-unquote realism. Characters that can work for money will only be working an average of 1,726 hours a year, which is a lot of hours an adult spends working per year according to OECD, and they are to retire at 65 years old while starting work at 18. Of course, when we say day or year, we'll be going by in-game day, night or year cycles. The time scale is often a main factor since they can go from a 1-to-1 ratio as in Pokemon, to a day being only around 15 seconds long in other games. With that in mind, there are a few exceptions, which I will point out as they come. My original list of characters had 32 of them, but I'll only be listing the top 25. I'm going to cover them in 3 separate videos, with this one being the first. I might have missed a few characters, so if I missed a character you believe should have made the list, feel free to comment below at the end of this trilogy. However, I'm going to use the Smash Bros rules. I'm only going to do video game characters, which means exclusively characters which originated from video games. Yeah, Batman's cool and Scrooge McDuck literally has a literal gold pool and whatnot, and they had some good games, but they're not video game characters, so they're not counted. Now with all that mumbly-jumbly out of the way, we can move on to our first member of our Hall of Wealth, name pending. Rank number 25 is the Dragonborn Dovahkiin from Skyrim. Firstly, using the chart here which compares all the Skyrim fruit, fish and meat prices to their respective real-world prices, which I will link somewhere in the description below along with any other sources and videos used in this video. In this spreadsheet, the median conversion rate of a Skyrim coin is worth 45 cents. The most consistent and best way of making gold in Skyrim I could find was by chopping wood and selling them at 5 coins each, which nets you a solid 3,000 gold per hour. Now Skyrim has a timescale of 20, which makes the wage of chopping wood 150 gold coins per in-game hour, or an hourly wage of $67.50, which isn't half bad. So if we multiply that wage by the number of hours worked per year and a total of 47 years work, that brings the Dragonborn 12,168,300 gold coins, of $5,475,735, which is already high on the list considering that according to Business Insider, most Americans retire with only $264,800. So our first video game character to be on this list is already 45 times richer than most of us when we are at 75 years old. Oh, damn. However, considering this operation will need the chopping of 2.4 million firewood, this can't be very good for the environment. Next up is Link from Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild to be specific. Surprisingly for colorful gemstones, rupees are only worth 25.6 cents going by the market prices of food ingredients, which is again why judging their worth by real life standards of jewelry is absolutely inaccurate. If that seems weird to you, again the spreadsheet is linked somewhere down below, but I'll say one of the data that put down was definitely AIDS costing you 3 rupees, which in hindsight of writing isn't actually that surprising considering that collecting them is as dangerous as taking a selfie with a lion. Moving on, according to this video by 100% Zelda, the best way to get rupees is collecting luminous stones with an average of 11,200 rupees in 24 minutes. However, if you watch the video, which I mean you probably should do, I linked it and everything, you would find a method detailing using a glitch which gives you a lot more than that. But I think using a glitch for monetary purposes in real life then would either be falling somewhere between tax evasion or getting infinite energy by taping buttered bread on the back of a cat and then dropping the cat, which is both pretty illegal, so glitches will not be considered. Now Breath of the Wild has a time scale of 60, meaning every minute in real time makes 1 in-game hour. So if we plug that into this equation here, let Link work for 48 years, since he is 17 years old, Link will be able to retire with 38,662,400 rupees, which is $9,897,574.40. Not bad for a geologist. Next on number 23 is Princess Peach, which was an absolute pain to calculate. Alright, first off, trying to transfer a coin from Super Mario Bros into real world money is already difficult because Mario games just aren't, realistic because the game was never realistic anyway. Like, when do you buy and eat magic mushrooms? Unless you're talking about drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. Well, I would like to find the value of a coin by dividing the worth of a human life by 100. That seems kinda illegal. Then again, it does sound interesting as a concept. Wait, let me write this down somewhere. How much do I need to buy a human soul? FBI, open up! Anyway, I didn't do that. Because while the mainline Mario games don't use coins as a proper currency, there are other Mario games. 250 of them actually. And one of them is Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. If I was not supposed to pronounce the plus sign, I apologize. In this game, you can buy cheese. Yes, I chose cheese of all things. For 20 coins. If we assume this to be around a sixth of a Parmesan cheese wheel, the cheese will have a volume of roughly 1/100th of a cubic meter, which would weigh 10 kilograms or 21 pounds. Said cheese, according to trading economics, would be worth around $50, making a coin worth $2.50. Moving on, we then need to figure out how much Princess Peach owns, mainly in terms of her castles. Yep, you know how every time you get to the end of a castle just for Toad to shout, "Thanks, Mario! The princess is in the castle!" Oh my god. Well, we're counting those castles. This is gonna be a long segment, so let's just take a golden mushroom and speed this up. In Super Mario Maker 2, you are tasked to rebuild a castle from scratch by gathering coins to buy materials and pay the toads. The whole castle costs 14,100 coins to rebuild, with the castle in the center costing 6,700 coins. Using Mario's height of 155 centimeters or 5 foot 1 inch, this castle, at least from how this UI shows us, has a diameter of 12 meters and 62 centimeters, making an area of 125 square meters, while a height of 14.74 meters or 48 feet and 4 inches. By the way, this castle will be worth $16,750, which is incredibly low for any building, but I'm not gonna question it today. This standard can then be used to calculate the worth of the castle in Super Mario 64, because Peach can't just have only one house like most of us. So I booted up Super Mario 64 emulator and once again used Mario's height to estimate the size of the doors to be 29.6 centimeters or 9.5 foot wide. I then downloaded the castle's model and measured the castle's area to be 76 meters long, 72.72 meters wide, and also being 57.19 meters tall. In addition, the castle's basement has an area of roughly 5,527 square meters. Assuming the foundation of the Mario Maker castle is made of monolithic concrete, which is the cheapest foundation listed on homeguide.com, this will make the basement foundation in Mario 64 cost 6.6 times more. I'm just gonna skip all the boring math stuff, so instead I'll just write everything on screen here, and we'll find that the price of a Mario 64 castle will be estimated to be 1,267,661 and 0.05 coins. Now we've got the estimated price of both a large and small castle in the Mushroom Kingdom. I'm too lazy to find out what the size of all the other castles are, so I'm just going to use them as standard prices. Other than 64, Peach also has 2 other different large castles in Mario Odyssey and 3D Land, while having 23 other ones which I'll count as small castles. This amounts to a total of 4,141,383 coins in total, or 10,353,457.5 real-world dollars. This might be an underestimate, which can be greatly increased if you get to see more of her treasury or riches, but I'd rather if she shows herself using it to, run her kingdom, maybe improve the security so Bowser doesn't just crash in every other week or something. But no, somehow having 30 castles is a higher priority. And number 22 is Korea from Fallout New Vegas. Fallout's currency was the most interesting to calculate, not only because they are bottle caps, a seemingly ridiculous item to be used as a currency, but actually one that works since the number of bottle caps stays constant when all the soda companies closed down for over 200 years. But also because Fallout is one of the only games to feature water as a consumable, and not water as like in Pokemon, where it is somehow a healing item more powerful than the scientifically, I assume scientifically, produced healing potion. Water like water in real life. No nutritional or healing benefits, 0 calories, it does not fill up your hunger, just something that your body expects to get every day or else you're just heckin' die. Of course in Fallout it's more from the immediate radiation than dryness. But how does this matter you ask? Well, unlike in real life where water is free in most places, in Fallout, water drives the economy often more than food. Since clean water is so hard to get after the nuke just rained radioactivity into the rivers, ponds, sewers and basically everywhere the light touches. However, instead of counting water equally as any other food item or to only use water as a backup currency, I will instead find the worth of a cat by comparing how much it would cost to live on the bare minimum of food and water together. If that sounds a little confusing, it will make sense as I explain it further, which I'll need to be quick with because this whole video is starting to get a bit long now. A pound of clean water in Fallout New Vegas costs 20 caps or 166 and 2/3 of caps per gallon. With the bare minimum of water one needs to drink a day to survive being 1 liter or a quarter of a gallon, this makes out to be 365 liters of water a year, which requires around 16,000 caps a year to sustain. Moving back to food, by comparing crop prices, a cap is worth 26 cents when it comes to buying food. An American spends a minimum of $4,400 a year on food, which is equivalent to about 17,000 caps a year spent on food, which adds to about 33,000 caps a year in total spent on both eating and drinking. In conclusion, this sums to about 33,000 caps being equal to just over $4,400, a cap being worth 13.4 cents. Now the fastest way to get caps in Fallout is by an exploit explained in this video by Mass40k. In New Vegas, you can eventually join the Torrent, which is an underground fighting ring and fight Deathclaws, and if you just camp at your spawn point, you can actually consistently kill them all under a minute and get yourself 500 caps per round. Now for the rest of the equation, Courier is at least 16 years old, which means they can work for a minimum of 49 years, assuming they don't die early from the Deathclaws or the radiation, so fat chance. On the other hand, Fallout New Vegas has a timescale of 30, which calculates to a total of 84,574,000 caps earned by the age of 65, or $11,332,916. Honestly, a lot better than you could expect when you're in the wasteland. On a side note, that stack of caps will weigh around 190 tons, which sounds like a lot more work to carry around than acquiring that cash. Finally, our final multimillionaire of the day is the protagonist of Terraria. No name given. Firstly, the median conversion rate of a Terraria copper coin is worth 0.04215 cents. Now this might seem to be incredibly low, but that's just what happens when every single type of fruit is worth 2,000 of these things. Now for the amount of coins you can have in Terraria. According to this video by ZuzuCoin showing an AFK farm, it takes around 2.5 minutes to make a platinum coin, which is worth 1,000,000 copper coins. Terraria has a timescale factor of 60. Again, a minute in real life is 1 in-game hour. This turns the AFK farm's efficiency to be 400,000 coins a Terrarian hour. However, that's not the end of it. In Terraria, a year only lasts 48 days, since each season is only 12 days long, against how the real world operates, which actually would mean that the planet you're on will be on fire from how short the distance between the sun and you are, yet somehow that's not the biggest problem you'll be having in the land of Terraria. Anyway, using this equation of multiplying the efficiency of an AFK farm with the timescale of 47 years, we would get the total of 42,672,394,520.5 copper coins, or 42,672 platinum coins with a good amount of change. If you convert that into US dollars, you get $17,986,414.29. And that is the first 5 members of the Richest Video Game Characters Club. As I said, all the spreadsheets and videos used in this video will be linked in the description. If there's anything I missed, do leave a comment, but remember that there are still 20 more characters to go through in 2 more episodes of this trilogy, so stay tuned. And with that, see you next time. Hi, if you're still watching, that means you've reached the end card segment. I didn't actually have anything prepared for this segment, so I'll just like to take the time to thank you for watching to the end of my first video. As you can probably tell, this is the first time I've done anything like this, so if there's anything you liked or anything I can improve on, do drop a comment. See ya!